Morning and, well, afternoon. Welcome back to Alan's Allotment. Just in the shed having a cup of coffee. We're now on the 7th of June and it's Saturday, 7th of June. Just another quick update. I am still homeless at the moment. Sleeping rough on the sofa, my daughters. And basically it is what it is. I'm down on the local council, bidding on properties, but it's diabolical trying to get a property. I'm also looking for private rent. I do have a viewing on Wednesday the 11th. I've got to go and view a private property and see if I get lucky and can manage to get that one. It's actually in an ideal location. It's just down the road and it's literally a 5-minute walk to the allotment. So that would be an ideal situation. However, the way things have been going lately, I'm not going to hold out much hope, but at least it's a step in the right direction. I do have a viewing. At least that's a step. I've been homeless since the end of February. I am still working and holding my job down. And let's just say life's a little difficult at the moment, but we just keep putting one foot in front of the other because that's all you got to do and you keep on doing. So today I'm just up at the allotment and I'm cleaning the chickens out basically. I'm not going to video that or show you that. I've sold a lot of the chickens. I've only got the Rhode Island Reds left and the Buff Leghorns and 2 or 3 layers, and that's it. The rest have gone. I've sold those on. I was going to pack the lot in and I was also going to pack in the allotment. But it's actually been my sanctuary for years, and what's more, it's even now more important than it ever was, because it's the only thing I have left that's familiar at this moment in time. And it's peace, quiet and tranquil when I come here. It's just like it always was. So I still have that familiarity in my life. So I'm going to have this cup of coffee and then I will give you a little look around. I've done very little in the garden, purely due to circumstance. I was starting to get back on top of it, as you've seen in the last 3 or 4 videos. Excuse me. However, I've had to take a back seat again. But what I did do is I got some vegetables in, and I planted all of my potatoes in as well. So I've got my first earlies, second earlies. I made an effort to get the potatoes in. I thought, at least I'll have potatoes for the year. And the first earlies will be coming up for the harvest in the end of this month, more or less. And I'm not quite looking forward to that. Hopefully by then I just may, have somewhere to live and call home. And then we can start moving forward, because at the moment I'm in a bit of a limbo. So I'm going to shut up babbling for now. I'm going to have this cup of coffee and then we'll give you a little look around. The place is still a mess for obvious reasons. But at least I can see some vegetables there and, I'm going to have some veg. I'm going to have some potatoes if nothing else. Right, I'm going to try and keep this fairly brief and just get to the point. So basically in here, this was where I had some chickens at and they cleared the ground. I've put in here, these are actually late potatoes. So I've got first earlies, second earlies and lates. These are the late potatoes, and I'm not bothered about the weed that's growing around them. I'll be able to dig down and get the potatoes when the time's right. We'll run the strimmer over the weed around the 2 stretches, and then we'll harvest them at the time, later in the year. Likewise, I also, in this pen here, if you remember, I think we left off where I was starting to rotivate this to level it all out. And we've got these trees in, which are all doing really well. You can even see I have some peaches on there. And I've also got some peaches on this little peach tree here. This was the hardest part. I rotivated a big trench down here. And then I planted in a massive row of late potatoes, as you can see. And again, they're in the ground, they're growing. I know I'm going to have potatoes at the end of the year. So I'll move on. I'll just pause the video and then bring you back in a second. Right, so in here you'll see, this is the greenhouse. The tomatoes are coming along, there's trusses on. They're not doing as well as I would have expected, but they are growing. The lettuces, we eat some, the others went to seed, and I've just been cutting bits off and feeding it to the chickens as we go along. The grapevine is atrophied again. It needs to be thinned out, and a lot of these bunches of grapes need to be cut off. I've already cut off several hundred bunches, and there's another 100 plus bunches of grapes going to need to be cut out. I'm not sure how well you can see all of this because of the sun. But the tomatoes are doing okay. Plenty of trusses on, even some very small tomatoes. The onions are not amounting to anything. The melon is really struggling. The peppers are coming along okay. Well, one is. That one's struggling. The cucumber's starting to get going now. Another melon, another pepper, and this one's struggling, but it's starting to flower. I think it's lack of water. I need to get this. These beds are drying out faster than I would have liked. The leeks are still sitting in the tray. Never got round to them. Be honest with you, I'm not bothered if I don't. But as you can see in here, these are the 4 cauliflowers and the 4 calabrese we planted. These have done amazing. As you can see, there isn't a blemish on the leaves. What's more, you can see the calabrese are now starting to head up. And the foliage is absolutely beautiful. Very little slug attack, a little bit there, but not much. And the cauliflowers are just starting to they're starting to fold the leaves internally, so they'll be starting to put a head on shortly as well. So that's basically where we are inside the polytunnel. This chicken pen is now completely empty. No chickens left in there. This pen is completely empty. There's no chickens left in here. This pen is completely empty and no chickens left in here. We have a few of the layers left in here, not many. These are the buff leghorns to be kept. I do have 2 young cockerels that I've kept back. When the cockerel died, that left me without a buff leghorn cockerel. So we've literally got a Swedish flower one in here. We're going to produce some Swedish flower leghorns as well. And there's actually 2 of these are sitting their own eggs. So we'll wait and see if they actually hatch. Moving into the garden. These are my first early potatoes. These are the Jersey Royals. And as you can see, they're doing really well. They're flowering now. They could probably be lifted now, but I'm not going to lift them yet. I'm going to leave them till the end of the month. Everything else is just an absolute shambles. In here, this is the second, or rather these were planted exactly the same time. These are cauliflowers and calabrese. And you see the difference. Sorry about the cockerel. You see the difference between these and the ones in the polytunnel. So my theory was right that they would do better and come slightly earlier than these would. You can see these are actually starting to put a little head on as well, but they're smaller, they're further behind. So they're going to be about a week or so behind, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks behind the ones in the polytunnel, which was the plan all along. In here we put a lot of flowers and one thing or another, they're all coming through. There's cherries all over the cherry tree. The apples trees are absolutely laden. So we've got some fruit. This rose tree grew beautiful this year, and they're looking ragged now with the rain. But it's put out an amazing amount of flowers, and likewise on the other side. That was an onion bed, is now full of weeds. Everything has just gone by the way, unfortunately. As you can see, everything's taken over again. The chickens dug out all my garlic. That's a goner. They also dug out all of the onions. And I took the time to plant a few of them back in. And some of them, yeah, they're not doing very well. So we might not have any onions this year, but there we go. Although we might get some small ones out of the top ones there. The polytunnel is still standing where how we left it, with weeds down this side and weeds down that side, but the centre row is second early potatoes, and they're doing well. And I always used to get good crops of potatoes out of these beds, so we'll get among the weeds and we will get a harvest of some description from here. Right, so you may remember from previous videos I've only been trying to grow plums for 16 years. Well, here we go. Finally, this little tree we put in 2 years ago is absolutely laden with plums. So, happy days. Right, that pretty much concludes today's video. It's about all I've got, and it's an update just to let you know what's going on. If we get any further progress or we get any good news regarding a house, we'll get back to you and pop on and let you know what's going on. For now, as always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical and keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks again for watching and all of your support. And I'll see you again in the next video.